What we are going to tell is history, but it could almost pass for a soap opera, or for the complete box set of Game of Thrones. It all started in 1902. The Queen hadn't even been born yet. Barcelona won, Alfonso XIII was watching the match, and for Barcelona and Real Madrid, it wasn't exactly love at first sight. Not long after the game, Real signed the left-winger Alfonso Albeniz from Barcelona. That was how it all started, what has now become an age-old habit, squabbling over players. In 1943, the first real blow was made. Barcelona won in the first leg of the National Cup semi-finals, 3-0, so in Madrid they had to make up for their losses. Whistles were given out to the fans, and Barca were welcomed with a monumental noise. The first half finished 8-0, and Barcelona thought about not coming out for the second half, but they were persuaded to come out by the police. The match finished 11-1, and what had started as a sporting row turned into a social conflict. Both clubs' presidents had to step down, and in Madrid the position went to a guy called Santiago Bernabeu. You may have heard of him. The battle resumed. Barcelona and Real Madrid had their eye on Malauni, who was away in the Canary Islands at the time. Barcelona went by boat to sign him, Real Madrid went by plane. You can imagine who got there first. Barcelona signed Curvela, and they returned to their squabbles over Di Stefano. Di Stefano was playing for River Plate, but after a strike in Argentine football, he went to Colombia to play for Millonarios de Bogotá. Barcelona made a deal with River, and Real Madrid made a deal with Millonarios de Bogotá. That's to say, he was split between the teams. Di Stefano played friendlies with Barcelona. The decision of the governing authority was judicious. For the next 5 years, he would play a season with each team. Barcelona weren't having any of it, and gave in. You take him. Days before the final of the 1968 National Cup, Bernabeu said in an official speech that it was a shame that Catalonia was full of so many Catalans. Narcís Carreras, the president of Barcelona's football club, responded by saying that those who provoke the separatists are worse than the separatists themselves. Barcelona won 1-0, and the pitch was showered in bottles in protest against Antonio Rigo's refereeing, who a short time after admitted that since that very day he had become anti-Real Madrid. In 1970, it was Guruceta's turn. Camp Nou were up in arms after he called a penalty when Rife pushed Velázquez outside of the penalty area. I mean, really far from the penalty area. Supporters ran onto the pitch and the match was suspended 5 minutes before the end. Miguel Muñoz, Real's manager, was hit on the head with a bottle, and the chief executive of Real Madrid tried to diffuse tensions in a press conference, with very little success. This kind of thing could have happened in any village in Spain. For some reason, his words didn't sit very well. In 1973, Barca signed Johan Cruyff, the player of the moment. On the 17th of February 1974, Barca won 5-0 in Real Madrid's Bernabeu Stadium. The signing of Cruyff had paid off. It was a feat and made up for the fact that they hadn't won the league for 14 years. But the hate continued. In 1979, Barcelona took the white out of their away kit. From the start of the 80s, many players changed sides. Footballers flew from one club to the next, changing lovers, shirts and contracts. Schuster, Laudrup, Luis Enrique, although none of those were as famous as the case of Figo. When Figo returned to Camp Nou in white strip, he was welcomed by fans with a pig's head and a bottle of whiskey. For Guardiola and Mourinho, the sporting and political rivalry became almost philosophical. After playing each other 4 times in the space of 18 days, the war left behind many casualties, including Iker Casillas. The relationship between Real Madrid and Barca has improved. They only launch missiles at each other when they win a title. That is to say, every 6 months or so. Deep down, they know they need each other, but it is so deep down that they often forget.